Welcome to the first episode of Trachiniae, the Trachinian women. We start with the parados, the entrance of the chorus, and the chorus takes on a moral tone. Very often, we turn to the chorus to find the moral center of the Greek tragedy. I don't think that's the case here. I think uh, the chorus is unnecessarily harsh on Deianira, and I think the play helps us to see Deianira's point of view against the chorus. At any rate, there's definitely a contrast. The chorus comes in and chides Deianira for fretting over uh, the non presence um, of her husband, and they mentioned that the term of the oracle is up. Uh, no, actually, that's not them. This is Deianira speaking again. This is the first episode. Okay, after such chiding in the Parados, and the first episode begins, and Deianira repeats what she said before about the oracle. He fixed a certain date, we're told, 3 months and a year. Wait a minute. I thought before it was 15 months. And now it's 3 months and a year. Um, I don't know which is the true period of time, but he fixed a certain date, 3 months and a year, after which he would be either dead or coming home to a blissful, painful life. Such was the future, he said, laid out for him by the heavens. Um, Messenger comes in then, an angelos, and reports the arrival of Heracles. And so we see Deianira rejoicing. At last, he'll be here. Great Zeus, who holds sway over the upland meadows of Oetia, which no scythe ever shears, at long last you have made us happy. But remember the opening proverb, the opening gnomon: call no person happy until he is dead. Lycus enters now, the companion of Heracles, with the captive maidens, and Lycus explains that these are Heracles' spoils of war. He has destroyed the city of Trachis, and these are the maidens. These are his war prizes. Okay, and that should cause great concern for Deianira. She's rejoicing at the return of her husband, and here he comes with all of these toys. Lycus continues to tell the story. Heracles has sacked the city of Eurytus, Trachis, in revenge. Eurytus is the king, that is, and Eurytus is the father of the one slave girl who is shown here, Iole. He sacked in revenge for the humiliation he suffered. Now, we saw more of the details of this in Apollodorus, and so Lycus gives us a slanted view of the story. So if we're limited to this play, we might have a lesser view of Heracles, even if we excuse the violence as at least having motivation. It still suggests his impulsiveness and violence. Um, he talks about the bondage of Heracles to Omphale, and Deianira comes, and we have her first meeting with Iole, and the emotional uh, nature of this meeting is not quite what we expect. We expect a kind of a jealousy, right? Here's a younger woman, a woman half her age, strikingly beautiful, and a war prize, a slave to Heracles. Great competition for Deianira. But she looks into the eyes of Iole, and instead of that kind of amalgam of jealousy and rage, instead we have pity, and she keeps using that word. You poor unfortunate girl, she says to Iole. So put this in terms of the paradigm that I mentioned in the previous uh, video on the prologue of a popular culture princess now, and um, Iole is someone who wants to be Deianira, and Deianira sees the future of Iole because of her past. And she says, "You poor unfortunate girl, tell me, who are you? You're not married or a mother, are you? You look quite innocent of such mysteries, but are obviously of noble birth. Lycus, who on earth is this foreign girl? Who is her mother? Who is her father? The parents who produced her? I felt sorry for her the moment I saw her." So twice there, and once again a little bit later, she expresses pity. Iole, however, is silent. She says nothing. Messenger comes in to add a corrective to Lycus's story. He says that Heracles toppled the city of Eurytus out of desire for Iole. Okay. Now, the story as we receive it from Apollodorus doesn't have this element, and I don't think we're supposed to take that at face value. I think Sophocles expected his audience to have known earlier versions of it and to detect this as the knowing public, right, putting the worst possible construction on a scandal, okay? And I mean, Heracles certainly has his faults, but uh, it seems a lot more impulsive than this thing. But at any rate, that explanation of the messenger makes it worse for Deianira, that he's in love with this girl and he'll do anything for her. It was entirely because of this girl that Heracles toppled Eurytus and the lofty towers of Oechalia. It was Eros alone that fueled this prowess of arms. And then he apologizes for telling that. If this is not a pleasant piece of news, I'm sorry, but it is the truth. And Deianira expresses something very much like the dogged pursuit of truth that we find in Oedipus, Tyrannus, something that I think is the greatest nobility of Oedipus, as I think it is here part of the greatest nobility of Deianira, that in fact the truth is painful, but she pursues it. Why should I fear the truth? Are you ready to tell me the honest truth? Deianira asks Lycus. Now, Lycus tried to soft pedal it. The messenger, the unnamed messenger, says, no, it was lust that drove Heracles. Deianira urges Lycus to tell the truth. There was someone there who heard from your own lips, says the messenger, that it was his craving for this girl, and nothing to do with the Lydian woman, that is, Omphale, that made him sack the city. You are talking to a woman, says Deianira, who is neither perverse nor ignorant in the ways of men, and knows the inconsistencies of the human heart. And anyone who has a boxing match with Eros is a fool. Okay, so she presents human nature as being bound to being limited by Eros, by ruled by Eros, as it was, and it's foolish for us to complain about that. But if you were carrying out his instructions to lie, then you have embarked on an dishonest course, in which you have made headway and cannot claim to be an honest man. She turns back to the subject of Iole, and she says, I was overwhelmed with pity when I saw her, not jealousy, pity. Her beauty has undermined her life. So there we have Deianira identifying with Iole. Her beauty has undermined her life, and it was not her fault, poor creature. Not her fault that she has plunged her country into ruin and slavery. But she concludes you must always tell the truth. Lycus finally admits the truth, that in fact it was lusting after Iole that drove Heracles to this action. And so thus begins the first Stasimon, the first choral ode, and that takes us to the end of that marks the end, at any rate, of the first episode. So we'll leave it here, and we'll see you in the next video on episode 2.